So I'm going to do a bit of a mini-series today, maybe 1 or 2 episodes most, about a problem I've recently discovered with one of my clocks. And you can probably see it because I'm just making a terrible effort to hide it behind this frog. Yeah, I was going to use it one night, and then I realised there's something up with it. When I pulled out the alarm shut-off, there's the clock by the way, what an amazing zoom. Yeah. Notice how the alarm's at 12, but it's not telling 12 o'clock. Come on. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. You can tell someone's definitely up with this. I don't know what. Let's just pick a different time. I mean, all around the clock it does that. Yeah. Well, it's doing weird stuff anyway. And I think it's down to the position of the trip spring, which might need to be sorted out. And I don't know if this is definitely not normal behaviour. So yeah, that's something we're going to be sorting out. Well, I am anyway. Oh, that's better. So, Westclox Good Morning. This is what this is. And yeah, at the moment it's definitely not going to let you have a good morning. Made in Scotland. I've already written the date on the bottom in pencil. I do that with all of these. If I know if there's a date stamp on there, I write it on the bottom in pencil so I don't have to pull it apart to find out what it is. Ooh, I just did it again. Right. So yeah, man, I need to take this thing apart. See what the condition the movement's in. Got this a while ago. Can't remember when or where. Yeah, how do I get this off? I don't want to ruin the thing. I mean, it's already really scratched up, isn't it? So a little bit more is barely going to notice. Alright, there we go. We got that off. I tried the chiseling method on these, but not this one in particular, but a blue one I had, which is now being sort of used for parts. It's still working, but I'm still using it for parts because it's just not a great example. Yeah, I tried it on this, and it just kept slipping off because there's not much of a rim on here. But yeah, so it's got a luminous dial, which I will. Oh, the movement doesn't look too bad, which I will keep an eye out for. But yeah, this movement's actually looking pretty okay. I don't think I've serviced this before, but it actually doesn't look pretty bad. Might service this on my own time. Looks like it could use some oil though, there's no oil on it. Yeah, the problem lies probably over there somewhere. So if I do that again, just pull on that a little bit. I can't remember what I did. I think it's lit. Why is it not doing it anymore? You know what? I think it's just a case of doing that. Ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe that fixed the whole thing. Alright, so I think we got it, and it's just a matter of this not being tuned up correctly. As you can see, it works on both of two conditions working for the alarm to go off. Number one is that this is pulled out, which pulls it out some way. And the other one is the alarm tripping, which has just happened now. You can see it not tripping. and now it's tripped. And you can see that moves it a little bit more. But when both of them together, that lets it out, which allows it to ring. But I'm holding the hammer at the moment with my fingers. So yeah, when both of those happen together, aka the alarm happening at the time, then the alarm will go off. So I think we probably just solved that. Just a 1-episode series. I may as well oil this as I'm here, because I cannot see a single... I don't think I've ever worked on this movement in my life. Looks like someone has though. I mean, honestly, this is in such good condition, no wear on it, nothing, that I'm tempted to never disassemble this. And I probably will getting around to it one day. I mean, if it decides to fail, or maybe just when I've got more spare time on my hands, I may as well go through every single clock and service it. Look how quick that balance wheel's going. And service it just for the good of them. But that is the craziest fast balance wheel I've seen in my... Look at the smacking speed of that. Is that normal? It's definitely a good sign. Better than the sluggish one. Hey Greg. Alright. So that's that. We can probably go ahead and just remove these. Using my Ninga fails. I think these are the same or maybe similar hands used on the sleep meters. So that's the... See, this is not... The tabs are not bent. I swear they're never bent. What has happened to that? Well, I don't think I ever spare one of them. Whatever happened to that? Someone's been mangling with it. I've no idea why they did that, but they did. Not much I can do about it. Something I can do though is increase the angle of the sticky up bit on here, which I like to do sometimes because that just makes the alarm more definite. You get more of a clear understanding of when the alarm's going off, because yeah, that's a much bigger gap. And why is the alarm not going off? Now it is. Bloody hell. Your ears are probably getting destroyed. Yeah, if you're wearing headphones, I'm sorry. Let's just give this other side a quick oil. I'm now oiling the pallets, pivots, because I don't see why I shouldn't. There's an oil sink there. May as well use it. Went a bit overboard on that one. This is a Westclox model 66 movement. Interestingly enough, I just bought a load of them off eBay today, specifically for one particular clock, which I will share in a future series, which will definitely be on YouTube, because I'm really interested to see how it plays out. It's a sort of major project in terms of that alarm clock being resurrected from nothing, but if it all goes well, then it's quite a rare clock, and it requires a specific model of 66 movement that I think is exclusive to that model. I will share what that is when the series comes out. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but I've actually documented this, and what it is the hammers and bells on these have different shapes depending on the time. On these Scottish ones anyway. This is one of the latest ones, but some of them had different shaped bells. I think at some point they had a sort of rectangular kind of bell. I might do a video on it another time, but yeah, just want to know if anyone else noticed or has had enough experience with these movements to notice that. What's happened with this balance wheel? It's not wound up, that's what it is. I didn't even make any effort to wind this thing up. Yeah, that's a loose spring. These springs on these movements, yeah, I think they're fine, but apparently people always say they break. I have not had experience. I've had experience with the alarm springs breaking, not on me, but having clocks with the alarm springs broken a lot. The alarm springs break. The mainsprings, however, I have never had an experience with one of these with the mainspring breaking. Maybe someone else has, but yeah, I've not, which is interesting. Although the springs they have in these aren't particularly powerful, and they almost feel sort of poor quality springs. Not that the springs themselves are bad, it's just they haven't made much of an effort to put a loop on the end of them. And they always sort of coil in a weird way. They always coil to the middle, whereas I think usually it's better to have the outer arm of the spring going into the movement first, because then it can coil outside, which is better for the better, I think. But yeah, what am I doing criticising a Westclox movement? So I think this is probably, I'll tell you how this runs, and if I don't make another video on this, then it will be working fine. If not, I'll probably post an update saying why is this not working, but if you look at it, that looks pretty solid. You can see it has a stamp on there, 1062 UK, which is what they put on these ones. And if you're from, if you're experienced with the North American versions of these movements, you'll probably think, oh, 1962, that's pretty late for one of these. Yeah, they kept making these here with pretty much the same design, brass plates and everything, up until 1964, I think, when the baby bend movements took over. I'll have to double check on that. Not much documentation for the Scottish made ones, sadly, which means there are a lot of models I have, well, some, don't have that many, some models I have which are unidentified, to me anyway. So, thanks for watching this mini series, which is 1 episode long, and now we have a working alarm, which hopefully I can use tonight, if it runs until tonight. Better wind it up though. What's the actual time? It is 4:15. Just before 4:15. I need to wind this up, don't I? Put that in. Like that. Give this a bit of a wipe. Glasses always get dirty here. And then this. So before I press this in, I have to rip the paint up again. Just going to give it a quick wind. These are the later style of key. I prefer the old one, to be honest, but I think they did this to make it more like the Big Ben style 7 at the time, which had a very similar key design, just bigger. Yeah, this is running alright. Yeah, another thing I don't like about these later ones is the way they didn't bother putting any screws to hold the movement in. They're just held in by the bezel force, which is usually not enough. And it's got these location little points around, but the screws are better because you can take it apart better and it holds together better without rattling like this. Not the best system. I mean, it's cheap, but really, you know. Yeah, get this back together. Yeah, I mean, it's all sort of loose. This is as hard on as I can get it, really. Yeah, well, that's pretty tight, but still, I think these are always wobbly. Or at least this one is. I don't see many of this colour, actually. They're usually pink or blue, just like the Well Times. But yeah, apparently there were cream coloured ones, but it's more of a mushroom colour. Cream of mushroom. So if we set the alarm to 9 o'clock, pull out the thing, pulling out the pinning, nothing happens. That's such a good news. It means we've solved the problem. Bang. Good morning, he says. So I'll reset this to the actual time. Off camera probably. And yeah. Nothing much else to say about this, except thanks for watching. Ooh.